Brother and sister veterans, we're here today with Eric Trump, and it's a great day.
I want to make sure everybody knows that Admiral Kubik was with us from the very beginning. He was back in '16 and is a real warrior. I was so glad some of the Navy senior flag officers were standing up. The Flynn.
Hey everybody, Brick Suit here. I am in a fabulous event for President Trump rally hosted by Turning Point Action. And I know we all love our veterans, but there's a group out there you really check out. It's Veterans for America First. They support all sorts of America First candidates, and they have a veteran focus that I'm sure you're going to like because we love our veterans. President Trump loves our veterans. Give them a look-see.
Hey, what's up, man? It's Fitzgerald. Well, I want to give a shout out to Veterans of America, Veterans First. We need to put more respect on our veterans and not our illegal immigrants. Trump 2024.
Hey folks, it's John Rich here, Veterans for Trump, incredible organization. We love our vets. Without men and women willing to sacrifice and die if necessary for our country, we wouldn't have a country. And we all know that. Much respect and much love. God bless you.
Perfect.
Hey, Congressman Mike Collins here. Listen, a big shout out to Veterans for America First, organization out there doing great things, backing candidates and helping our veterans, people who really need your help and deserve all the gratitude. Debt we could never repay them. Thank you for what you're doing. Keep up the hard work.
To all the veterans out there, especially Veterans for America First, we have got to deliver Trump victory. God bless, let's save this country.
Hi, it's House Republican Conference Chair Elise Stefanik, representative for New York's 21st Congressional District. Thank you to Veterans for America First for all your hard work. We know that President Trump strongly supports our veterans, and our veterans must turn out to vote for him. Thank you very much. Let's save America.
Hey, Georgia and Veterans for Donald J. Trump. You are the reason President Trump prioritizes national security because we do not want to send our sons and daughters to fight another man's war anymore. You guys are the reason we are safe and secure in this country, and it's about time we put a commander-in-chief back in office to prioritize our veterans and our armed forces. Vote DJT.
Hey everybody, it's former Congressman Doug Collins, also Colonel, United States Air Force Reserve. For our America First veterans out there, thank you for the service, thank you for the work. We got a lot of work ahead. You keep doing what you're doing, we always got your back.
Hey, Congressman Jim Jordan here. Just want to say thank you for helping Veterans for America First and all the great work they're doing.
And thank you for helping me in my campaign. You were my first endorsement. So too was Chairman Jordan. Let's get out of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That is wonderful. And thanks for all you guys do. You're amazing. It's wonderful to be a part of this Veterans for Trump family. So keep staying strong. We have a country to save.
Working overtime, we've got to do our part too. And one of the things I look forward to, and I'm very grateful for, we've got Jared and Stan and Veterans for America First. You know, what they're trying to do is raise awareness and also incentivize and motivate and encourage people to get out and vote, because that's why we're here. That's why we're doing the job we're doing, is to tell people if you go out and vote, you can make a difference in this election. And I know not one of you wants to wake up on November 6th and go, man, we could have just done a little bit more in Douglas County.
Well, let me just ask before I draw this. Did everybody enjoy the film?
Another person that's not giving up anytime soon. Why? Because Trump announced he's running for presidency is Stan Fitzgerald. Now listen, if you really want to know a patriot and what a patriot look like that puts his money where his mouth at, or at least somebody else's, that actually get behind candidates. When I say America First, that's God, family, country, and Trump. That's everything that we're talking about. Well, this is Stan Fitzgerald.
And thank you so much to Stan Fitzgerald. Where is he? There he is. Thank you so much. You are a great patriot. Thank you both for helping so supporting not only for people like me, President Trump, and for America First and MAGA. So God bless you.
And Stan, where's Stan? Stan is with Veterans for Trump.
Thank you, Martha.
Thank you all. We're honored. I know there are so many organizations.
Thank you. We appreciate all the help. Stanley and Donna Fitzgerald.
Right here, sir.
Thank you very much. It's great. It's great that you're with us. Mike Acton.
Hi, this is Stan Fitzgerald, Veterans for America First, and this is a Vet Force interview with our National Ambassador from Virginia, Marie Proffitt. How are you today, Marie?
Good, Stan. How are you?
Doing okay. So we just wanted to start going through our chain of command and our ambassadors and we're building a volunteer force to keep America great, to work on America First influence. And you are a key player in the state of Virginia. So people get to know you a little bit, can you give us a little bit about your background and what you do?
Sure. Since 2019, I've been a advocate primarily for my father. I'm also I'm a photographer, and then I have a regular day job from 8 to 5, and I work for an environmental company. But my primary focus has really been advocating for veterans and their families and making sure that our veterans can get access to the right type of care. And for my father specifically, he went in for, routine heart surgery, came through that fine. And about a week post-op, he had an issue. And so I went to go see him, spent some time with him. He was doing fine. He was stable, no problem setting up, eating. He was great. And I left and I said, okay, Dad, I'll see you later. I was gone for about 40 minutes and then received a phone call as soon as I pulled in the driveway to our house. And it was the nurse saying, hey, your dad went into respiratory distress. We had to re-intubate him and move him back to the ICU. So I said, okay. I said, he was eating when I left. Are you sure his airway was clear? He was eating. Because that was like probably the third or fourth meal that he had that was like solid food, right? So she said, no, he's fine. He's stable. There wasn't any issue. And so I turned right back around, drove 40 minutes right back to the VA hospital, got there, walked in, and I noticed he was just like a very ashy, like gray color. And so I started asking questions and I said, hey, are you sure his heart rate's okay? And his like respiration, like his oxygen levels don't look right. Like everything was kind of coming down. It was just like steadily falling. And she reassured me that he's stable. He's totally stable, that he's fine and he's been fine. And I said, well, I'm really concerned. He doesn't look right. And there were some alarms going off and she would just turn them off and go on about her business. And I said, I don't think this doesn't look right. And then sure enough, after saying that, he coded right there in front of us. And then she turned around and said, well, that can't be right. Well, lo and behold, people come in with a crash cart and they start working on him. So, they're working on him. They didn't have a heart rate, didn't have anything. After about 13 minutes, they put the mask on his face. They were trying to get oxygen through. Didn't get anything through. The doctor told him to pull the tube. As soon as they pulled the intubation tube, there was an obstruction at the bottom of the tube. Okay. So as soon as they pulled the tube, within a couple of seconds, maybe even a minute, they got a heart rate, they got respirations back. Mind you, he had just had open heart surgery. So when that happens, if they have to resuscitate you, they cut your sternum in half and they open your chest. So they were going to have to go back in and fix that after that. So they let him get stabilized. He stayed on, life support. They let him get to a stable place. And they said, hey, we have to go back in a second time and fix everything because when we were resuscitating him, the wires and stuff that hold his sternum together, we have to go fix that. I'm like, okay. So after they had told me that, I asked the nurse, I said, what was the obstruction? And she said, well, we're not really sure. It could have been maybe food. She goes, sometimes it's, sometimes it could be a mucus plug, but we're not really sure. And I said, okay, so there would be indicators telling you guys that something was wrong for that 40 minutes that he wasn't quite breathing right. So this is the way I think about that. It took me 40 minutes to drive from their house, my parents' house, all the way back to the VA. By the time I got there, I was there maybe 5-10 minutes and then he coded. Okay. So he slowly choked to death and then coded, and it took them 13.5 minutes to bring him back. And then, but we're not quite sure if we saw the indicators or knew what was going on. So my question was, did we absolutely do what we could? Were we following protocol? And could we have prevented that? Regardless if it was an obstruction or a mucus plug, could we have prevented that? Because the way it had worked itself up, I mean, he had been breathing until it just slowly cut his airway off. So I started asking questions. Through that, I was reassured that the VA would do everything in their power to make sure that they would take care of him and they would do things the right way. They said, okay, we're going to make sure we take care of everything from the second surgery. They do the second surgery. About a week or so later, they realized that the dressing that they put on his chest, it wasn't quite healing right. There was something going on. They took another x-ray. Some of the wires at the bottom of his sternum were stretched and poking down. So they had to go back in a third time to fix what they didn't fix the second time. So now we're on round 3. And I said, well, why didn't we fix it the second time? And they said, well, we just twisted them tighter. And I said, well, why would you twist them tighter if they were already, like, it's like taking a bread tie and just twisting. Well, we just did that really quick. So he had to go through it a third time, get him through that. The process has been 6 years of back and forth. It's a long story. And a lot of things being mishandled, dereliction of duty, not properly processed, violation of his HIPAA rights, violation of his rights as a disabled American veteran. And so I have been fighting, working with congressmen, senators, trying to get the right type of supportive care for a veteran that sustains a brain injury. Okay, so if it's TBI or if it's a noxious brain injury, what type of supportive care do these men and women have, and what can they get to, and how can we help their families through the process, and what can we do to support them? So I've written several white papers. I've worked with several candidates, because we need a good veteran voice in Congress that can advocate for our families and for our veterans. It's abhorrent to think that we can give illegal immigrants free money to come, a cell phone, and a place to live, but you have veterans, even in Washington, D.C., that are living on the street. You have veterans in the state of California that can't get into the right type of healthcare system because we're just shoveling money off places. You know, I'm all for helping people, but we've got to do it the right way. And we got to, you know, we're not doing it the right way. We've got to look after the men and women who protect our civil liberties and our rights and our freedoms. And to not support them is totally and completely disrespectful across the board. We got to do a better job with that. Through this process, I've met some wonderful people. Congressman Whitman was extremely helpful to our family. My dad had been to 4 different nursing homes. He was malnourished and abused at one of those nursing homes. And the VA healthcare system that we were working for told us that that was their best facility that they had to deal with. I don't know about you, but I think we can do better. You know, and then the excuse became, well, it's COVID, you know, we can't do anything about it. You know, it's COVID. And I'm like, no. We can't use that as an excuse. And it irritates me to think that we use COVID as an excuse for not following through to helping our veterans. I worked with the chief social work officer at our healthcare system. She and I came together with some really great solutions that we could offer even during that time period. And she had her job threatened. Okay. There is nothing worse when you're talking about, this woman was a veteran herself. She was a chief social work officer. She was trying to help me work with a veteran's family member, trying to come up with solutions that we could provide that could be implemented maybe in a different way to help vets at these facilities that the VA contracts with. And she had her job threatened. I don't understand that. I really do not understand that.
I do think that you're going to see things change in a positive way, because obviously President Trump has veterans #1 in the top 10 on his agenda, and you have Doug Collins from my state, who is also a lieutenant colonel like your father. Just for the viewers, Marie's father was a lieutenant colonel who's been deployed in combat. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So I think under the Trump administration, we're going to get some change, but you have to keep fighting and work with our national president, Robert Cornicelli, who is going to be working on bills for better health care in the VA, and specifically going to Doug Collins and using advocates like yourself to help with this process. So this work you've put in these last few years with your father will not be in vain. We have a unified government, and it's time to get this change done. So thank you for that fight, and thank you for joining Veterans for America First to continue.
Absolutely.
Well, let's change, and that is a horrific story with your father. But let's change topic just for a minute. And unfortunately, that's the story you told. Too many people tell that story. I've heard similar stories way too often. But in it, there's, it's understood that is the number one priority. But let's talk about a little bit more about what you do aside from advocating for veterans health care. Because I find my father was a photographer, and you're a photographer, and you have an interesting story about photographing President Trump. So why don't you tell us that story so we could close on a bit of a lighter note?
Oh, yeah. So I was volunteering on a campaign here in the 7th Congressional District, and our candidate was one that was endorsed by President Trump. His name's Derrick Anderson. And so there was a group of us going. There was another veterans organization as well that I was working with. And so we all went together. And so I got there, we went to the Chesapeake rally here in Virginia. And so we all met, and then I made it they're called, shucks, hold on, sorry. Hold on.
Are you talking about the one with Admiral Kubik and Jeff Hoffman?
No, I drew a blank. I'm so sorry. And I work with these folks all the time, and I just drew a blank,
okay.
and it's terrible. Oh my God, this is so awful.
It happens to all of us.
Oh my God.
But go ahead.
Please tell me you'll edit this part out. Edit that part out. I'm just trying to remember the name of the.
No, it's okay. And it's good to keep this stuff in. It makes it real.
Oh no.
But move forward to you walked up to the Secret Service.
Yep. So I got there at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we all got seats. Some of my friends were sitting, in the back in the bleachers and stuff. And I got down behind where the stage is where President Trump speaks. And I'd been there, like I said, since 10 o'clock that morning. I'd been walking around taking pictures and stuff and talking to people. And so I was there all day. I don't think he got there until like 4 or 5. And, I was hanging out for a while. They had other guest speakers come up and speak, and some of the Secret Service were hanging out, there. And so I was standing right next to those Secret Service agents, and I was the only photographer that was behind him that close. Everybody else was forward and on the ground, which was really interesting because from the front of the stage, you just see, the barrier, and it's blocked off. And so all of the other photographers were in front, and they were all sitting and like laying on the ground. And then some of the Secret Service agent guys were laying on the ground trying to keep the photographers at a certain distance. And here I am behind him, like off to the side, probably 15, 20 feet from him, taking photographs. It was pretty cool. It was a great experience. I was glad to be able to be there and to support our candidate, and support other veterans that were in the crowd that were with our organization, and support Veterans for Trump. And that's the biggest thing is, we have an opportunity to really, really do some incredible things and bring our country back together. And it's been so divisive and so divided. And so I think, if we do things the right way, we can really accomplish so many things and be so great, and really leave a lasting impression that will continue on for generations to come. And I think we forget the value of freedom and just how much people have had to fight for it and what it means. I come from a family that's been in the military, both my grandfathers, my father. We have other family and relatives that fought during the Civil War. 2 brothers, as a matter of fact. One fought for the South, and the other one fought for the North. And we have an old picture at home. The one lost his arm, and the other one, he had his leg all banged up, and they're together after the Civil War. I mean, we don't understand. I don't think a lot of people really understand the true cost of freedom. We have all these things that we do every day on a regular basis, men and women, but until you go to a different place and you see just how good and how blessed we are in this country, you don't really understand it a whole lot. So I think a lot better education for folks, I think, especially for a younger generation. You know, it's really important to be involved and get the voice out there and help educate people and empower them to make the best choices and decisions and value our freedom as citizens of a great nation, you know? Yeah.
Well, there you go. You made my job easy. I didn't have to ask any questions. I mean, you could be opening up a Trump rally with these stories and your speech. So let's close on that. How good it was. So Marie,
thank you.
You're welcome. Where can people find your business as a photographer? Because you've donated your work to us. It's excellent. So in Virginia,
yes, sir.
You need to be the go-to photographer, especially for politics. So tell people how they can find your website.
I have a site on Facebook. It's called Running for Roses. I do a lot of racing pictures. I'm a horse lover, so I have.
I'm sorry. Say it one more time.
It's called
It's just the audio.
Running for Roses.
Okay.
Running for Roses, and then I have Phoenix Media LLC.com. So Phoenix is PHENIX Media LLC.com. And we've been working on the website, trying to change up some things here and there. So it's still there. But if you can't get me on that website, then you can get me on my Facebook page, or you can get me on my Facebook page at Marie Proffitt. You can look me up that way. And I'm happy to, you know, I enjoy the work. I'm an art student by heart. I love being able to capture those moments, especially pivotal moments in our country's history and you know, key. It's something to be said. It's almost like, you know, when you see the picture of Kennedy in the White House with his brother, and they're sitting there and they're thinking about things, or, you know, Jimmy Carter or President Reagan, you know, those key moments, those photographs in the White House where, you know, there's decisions that are being made that's going to change the trajectory of a nation and what that looks like just in that moment. So I really enjoy capturing those moments, you know, and sharing them with the world. So,
well, thank you again. It is an art. It's important. It tells a story. It captures history. And with Veterans for America First, we hope to make history with you. So we'll close on that, and we'll talk soon, my friend.